Right now at 6, a woman in potential danger and now one man shot dead, with 5 Clark County Sheriff's deputies placed on leave. Plus,
I won't be bullied into any kind of quick fix.
Doubling down on a policy some say is causing slow ambulance response times. Then,
gun violence, once it impacts one person, it impacts multiple people at the same time.
Portland's plan to keep the trend moving in the right direction. And later,
take care of them and they'll take care of you.
a special honor for some pets in our lives and the humans who help them thrive.
Thanks for joining us at 6. I'm David Molko.
And I'm China Green. We start in Brush Perry tonight, where Clark County Sheriff deputies have shot and killed a man. It happened when they went to check out a report of a woman being held against her will.
Thomas Schultz joins us live from the Vancouver Police Department, which is investigating this shooting. So, Thomas, what is the latest?
Well, China and David, 5 deputies are now on leave, and law enforcement say this all started when family members notified the Clark County Sheriff's Office saying they believed the woman was being held against her will. Once deputies arrived to this home off Northeast 152nd, matters then escalated. Law enforcement says the man pulled out what looked to be a gun, and deputies shot and killed him. The woman involved in the incident was taken to a hospital, but we don't yet know what her injuries are, though we do know no deputies were injured. Now, one neighbor told us she heard the gunshots last night and at the time thought they were fireworks. She and other neighbors didn't want to go on camera, though they say the shooting makes them a bit more scared to live on the rural street. They say they're also going to change their day-to-day habits, like taking walks or going on runs around the neighborhood too. Now, there's still a lot we don't know about this shooting. The sheriff's office hasn't released the name of the man killed, but again, 5 Clark County Sheriff's deputies are now on leave, which is standard protocol in situations like this one. And Vancouver police are now lead investigators in the the shooting involving an officer. Now, something that's interesting to note here is that in November, Clark County deputies began to wear body cameras, so they did wear body cameras in this incident. We don't have that footage yet, though it is coming as this investigation continues. Guys?
Yeah, hopefully we'll get some clarity soon. Thank you, Thomas. In your headlines tonight, authorities are looking for 3 19-year-olds they say escaped from the McLaren Youth Correctional Facility in Woodburn. The facility says all 3 got away around 9 on Sunday night. State police say Angel Diaz Barrera on the left and Julian Diaz Navarro in the middle are from Salem. Xavier Swim on the right is from Portland. If you see them or you know where they might be, you're asked to call 911.
Multnomah County Chair Jessica Vega Peterson has rejected a push to change the county's ambulance staffing model to potentially improve slow response times. Right now, Multnomah County requires 2 paramedics. Ambulance provider AMR, Portland Fire, Gresham Fire, East County mayors, and others have asked Vega Peterson to allow the pairing of 1 paramedic and 1 EMT on ambulances. Instead, Vega Peterson doubled down.
I won't be bullied into any kind of quick fix. And the truth is that AMR is failing our community. This company hasn't provided enough ambulance service for Multnomah County families for almost 2 years. And at the same time, they've expanded into Washington County.
She says changing the model would put more burden on fire departments. She also said AMR hasn't done enough to bring in more paramedics despite a national paramedic shortage, and she threatened additional fines.
Metro Council President Lynn Peterson is suspending her campaign for Congress. Peterson was among 3 prominent Democrats seeking to challenge Lori Chavez DeRemer in November in what could be a pivotal race in deciding the balance of power in the House. State Rep Janelle Bynum and lawyer Jamie McLeod Skinner will face off in the Democratic primary in Oregon's 5th district. Primary day is May 21st.
And after a nearly year-long closure for renovations, Multnomah County Central Library is set to reopen this Friday. That's according to a message to patrons on the library's drop box. The downtown Portland location closed last March for a $12 million renovation. The library was built in 1913 and hadn't been upgraded since the 90s. Improvements include things like more USB plugins, a teen space, a gaming room, and quiet meeting spaces. We'll have a sneak preview for you on Thursday.
And a bill to keep Oregon on standard time year-round has now gone back to committee after failing to get enough votes on the Senate floor. Some lawmakers talked about adding a so-called trigger that requires other West Coast states to be on board before the change would take effect. We expect some sort of update later this week. Matt?
All right, David, thanks so much. We've got showers moving into the valley right now, moving into the Portland area really from the south. They've been down the valley for a bit. We're down to 49 degrees, and it's going to be like that overnight tonight and tomorrow. Showers coming and going. You see on Doppler radar, though, this big batch of rain just now edging into the West Hills in Washington County, coming off the coast range. So we're going to be dealing with some pretty good rain over the next hour or so in the Portland area. That's the short-term forecast. We look long range, though. We're going to get some drying kicking in tomorrow night, continuing through Saturday. So half the weekend will be dry. Tomorrow, showers again, especially midday and later in the day. But once they end tomorrow evening and the sky begins to clear, we're going to have some really nice weather. Sunrise 7:03 Pacific Standard Time tomorrow, and sunset at 5:46 as days continue to get longer. So one more day with showers. Late week clearing, meaning Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. It's going to feel a little spring-like with highs in the upper 50s. But then winter comes back with heavy mountain snow Sunday and Monday and a cold rain for the valleys. More on this in a bit, guys. Back to you.
Sounds like a lot to watch. Thank you, Matt. Let's talk about gun violence and homicides, which data shows are on the decline in Portland.
Today, City Council talked about its strategy to keep those trends going in the right direction. Daisy Caballero has the details.
If you remember back in 2022, Mayor Ted Wheeler announced a gun violence emergency declaration, all to reduce gun homicides and shootings by at least 10% over the next 2 years. And data shows they more than doubled that goal.
I am proud to say that the reductions in gun violence that we saw in 2023 tells us that we're on the right track.
New data presented at Tuesday's work session showed gun violence in Portland declined 22% from 2022 to 2023 after Mayor Ted Wheeler called for an emergency declaration for gun violence.
This declaration called for a comprehensive gun violence reduction strategy and required a multidisciplinary collaborative approach.
Between those 2 years, several community programs were created to help with these efforts, including the Ceasefire program, adopted June of last year. It helps identify people who are at the highest risk of gun violence, establish relationships with them, and offer them support programs.
We want to make sure that those who are being impacted by gun violence are being served, and those who are causing harm to our community are also being addressed.
Data collected from 2022 to 2023 showed the largest decline in the homicide victim rate was among Black Portlanders, resulting in a 28% decline in gun violence. That in turn represents 11 lives saved.
I'm pretty excited, and I think the community is excited about where we're going.
Terrace Hayes is the chair of the Focus Intervention Community Oversight Group, also known as FitCog, an advisory group that works closely with the mayor's office and the Portland Police Bureau, which evaluates PPB's effectiveness of gun violence response strategies through a racial and social lens.
It means we actually can create strategies and models that don't add harm to the community and actually reduce crime. So when you talk about that heavy hand, they're not supposed to come in with the heavy hand. And we see that taking that heavy hand off, but still believing in enforcement and accountability has actually worked.
Daisy Caballero, KGW News.
Coming up tonight on The Story, we are taking a look at another side of Portland's drug crisis, a section of downtown where harm reduction efforts are in full force.
Blair Best joins us live downtown with a preview. Blair?
Well, there are several groups around the city that hand out clean smoking supplies to people who use fentanyl and other drugs. However, there is one team that brings these supplies to an area in southwest Portland that's become a magnet for drug use and camping. It's the South Park blocks by Southwest Jefferson Street and Park Avenue. And the group is called the Portland People's Outreach Project. We got to see where they store their supplies today. The small nonprofit hands out survival gear for homeless people, along with every possible tool for using drugs one can think of, including fentanyl foil. Their focus is reducing a drug user's risk of catching disease or infection and hopefully saving lives.
You know, if the choice that they're going to make is to use drugs regardless, then we are helping them to make the choice to do it a little bit safer.
A lot of that makes it really easy to be a homeless drug addict, you know, but there is no, you're not going to get around the fact that it's a problem, that it's there.
All right, so coming up tonight at 6:30 on The Story, more on these harm reduction efforts, plus how Measure 110 plays a role in all this. Back to you.
Thank you, Blair. And